Alright, the thing that has me interested about this one is from the mind of Stephen King, though I also want to know what that means. I don't remember any of his short stories being called The Boogeyman, but that doesn't mean it wasn't. He's written so much.
I don't see anything.
Okay, monster check complete.
These trailers are also always so hard to tell. It's using, these old familiar tropes. So is it just more of the same we've seen in generic horror movies, or is it doing something new and taking it in a new direction? And that's what you hope for. And I guess it's hard for them to show that in the trailer because you don't want to give the movie away.
It's been around forever.
Hidden.
Oh, I like this girl. I just caught up on Yellow Jackets, and she played the young Juliet Lewis character, and she was great. Producers of Stranger Things is another,
Spooky monsters you think are hiding
point in its favor. The younger girl looks familiar too, but I can't place her.
Not real.
What is this?
I liked a small chin also. He always does a good job, even though he usually has a smaller role.
Comes for your kids when you're not paying attention.
You believe me?
That looked like a little poltergeist action there. Alright, I'm curious enough just based on Stephen King and the producers of Stranger Things. Of course, those can be loaded statements where you don't know how much of a part Stephen King had it. You don't know which producers. You don't know how much the producers had a start in it either. Did they just write a check, or were they hands-on making things happen? Horror movies are always tough, and horror fans are horror fans, so they're always kind of graded on a curve. What horror fans look for in a movie might not be the same thing as other people, so if this is kind of more of the same but has some good scares and some good gore, it might get a higher ranking than a movie that's just kind of so-so anyway. The trailer really doesn't give us a lot to go on, though. It doesn't show us much. Put some good names out there. The girl I mentioned who played the young Juliet Lewis in Yellow Jackets, I don't know the actress's name, but I thought she did a good job, so I'm curious to see her in another project. I don't think it's one I'm going to rush to the theater for, just because the theater for me at this point has to be a big draw. It's got to be an Avatar-level spectacle. I mean, some of the better Marvel stuff. I'll always show up for Star Wars, even though I don't know when we're going to be back in theaters for that one. But I'll probably check it out on like HBO Max or something. Maybe even like a Prime rental, depending on feedback that we get. Stephen King has me curious. Stranger Things has me curious. The actress has me a bit curious. But, I don't know. We need another trailer. It's got to show us something. It's got to tell us why this is a little bit different and why this horror movie is worth the time out of the house, is worth the $20 for a theater ticket now. Why don't you guys let me know what you think? Drop us a note in the comments. Leave us something on social media. All the accounts will be found after the show and in the show notes. Make sure you like, subscribe, bell, do all those things. We got more interviews, new movie coverage, Amazon series coverages are starting to roll back in, comic coverages. Joey's been uploading videos, so you're getting even more content every week. So you're not going to want to miss out. Speaking of not want to miss out, make sure you listen to So Is Your Podcast every single week wherever you get your podcasts. So Is Your Podcast can also be found on Patreon, where for as little as $1 a month, you get multiple monthly bonus shows. SoIsYourPodcast.com is your resource for reviews, recommendations, videos, merchandise, and more. And on a more personal note, a good friend and I have an ongoing comedy comic series. It's called Social Studies. It's kind of a coming-of-age story about a group of friends navigating high school, trying to figure out everything, who they are, life, and all that. We write it like a sitcom. We do it in the vein of the 90s cartoons that we grew up on, we love, and inspired us. You can find all available issues at socialstudiescomic.com, a bunch on Comixology, and a bunch on Global Comics, with more coming and more new issues on the way. So stay tuned for that as well. Thanks.